Ah, I just cut my thumb.
I'll get my first aid kit.
No, I'll be fine.
Novice hikers sometimes pass up on treating wounds, which is the biggest mistake they can make. Not properly treating wounds can lead to further pain and infection. So, here are the steps us Boy Scouts use. 1. Check the area. 2. Call for help. 3. Approach safely. 4. Provide proper treatment. 5. Prevent further injury. 6. If needed, treat for shock. 7. Make a more thorough examination. 8. Plan a course of action. Here are some examples.
Ow! I cut my hand. I'll treat it.
Small cuts like these are easily treatable by applying pressure with a gauze pad to stop the bleeding, drying the wound, then cleaning the wound with an alcohol wipe, petroleum jelly, Bactine, or antibiotic ointment, and finally apply the appropriate bandage or covering to keep the wound clean.
There you go, all patched up. Thanks.
The same methodology can be applied to blisters.
Ah! This blister hurts. Here, let me treat it.
The blister hasn't formed yet. The best thing to do is to stop for a bit and do some preventive work to remove the friction causing the blister. If you are past the point of no return, when the roof of the blister is formed, torn, or been de-roofed, the best you can do is treat it and assess if you can continue the hike.
The blister hasn't fully formed yet. It's just a hot spot. All right, then let's give this a second to cool off.
If the blister has formed and torn, then you should clean the wound, apply antibiotic ointment, and replace the missing skin with either a treated tissue or a non-adhesive patch. We recommend moleskin.
There may also be situations where you obtain injury from a plant or animal. The general rule of thumb in these situations is to stay away from things you don't know. Treatment for these situations is on a case-by-case basis, so check the resources in the description.
Another situation you may encounter are burns. There are 3 types of burns: 1st degree, 2nd degree, and 3rd degree. 1st degree burns are a mild irritation to the skin, causing discomfort and tenderness. The recommended treatment is to cool off the burnt area and apply aloe vera gel.
Second-degree burns are a bit more serious since they are skin-deep burns, which can cause blisters and irritated skin. Treat these by cooling down the affected area. Do not apply any ointments, even if the blister breaks. The only things you should do to this burn is to keep it dry, cool, and protected by a non-adhesive bandage.
3rd degree burns are the most serious burn, and for good reason. 3rd degree burns burn through the upper layers of the skin and damage nerves. The victim might not feel the pain, but the effects of an untreated 3rd degree burn will make up for that. So, in the event of a 3rd degree burn, do not treat it. Wrap the wounded area, keep it clean, and call 911 or your local emergency assistance. Also, make sure to look out for dehydration.
Dehydration can lead to heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
So, make sure to drink a lot of water while hiking.
So if you feel really thirsty, tired, have a headache, and are feeling nauseous, make sure to stop and drink some water.
Heat exhaustion is brought on by dehydration and can lead to heat stroke if not treated properly. The signs of heat exhaustion are a lack of energy, headache, nausea, a rapid pulse, and cool, moist skin.
The best way to treat this is to have the victim lie down in a cool, shaded place with feet raised and remove excess clothing. Apply wet clothing and fan the victim. If the victim is fully alert, have them drink water.
The recovery process should be rapid, but if not, call for help.
Heat stroke is even more serious as the body has reached life-threatening temperatures. Symptoms include hot, sweaty, or dry red skin, confusion, disorientation, a rapid pulse, shallow breathing, vomiting, seizures, and unconsciousness.
This is a true medical emergency, so immediately call for emergency assistance. While you wait for first responders, take the following actions.
Get the victim into a shaded or cool area away from the sun, and loosen all tight clothes and further cool the skin by fanning and applying wet clothes.
If you have an ice pack, wrap them in a t-shirt and apply to the person's armpits and against the neck and groin.
If the person is able to drink, give small amounts of cool or room temperature water. Never try to give fluids to an unconscious person.
Routinely check the victim's condition. Be sure to take further first aid procedures.
If you are in the exact opposite weather conditions, you may also encounter frostbite and hypothermia. Frostbite occurs when the skin becomes cold enough to freeze, and it's common on the ears, nose, fingers, and toes. This sometimes goes unnoticed by its victim.
Area affected will have grayish-white patches. To treat, get into indoor area or tent to warm the affected area. If the area affected is your cheek or ear, use the palm of your hand to warm up.
In more severe cases, get the victim into dry clothes and wrapped in a blanket. Then immediately seek medical attention from a trained professional or first responders. Do not try to warm it using fire or dry heater. That may result in burning the tissue.
Hypothermia is when a victim's body cannot produce enough heat to sustain itself. This can be caused by wind, rain, hunger, exhaustion, and dehydration in cold weather. Symptoms include feeling cold and numb, tiredness, uncontrollable shivering, lack of balance, irritability, the inability to think straight, and the loss of consciousness.
To treat, prevent the victim from getting colder. That means move the person into shelter, removing wet clothing, getting into warm clothing, and in jackets, blankets, and sleeping bags.
Have the person drink warm liquids such as soup, fruit juice, or water. Do not give the person caffeinated drinks.
Put a t-shirt or towels around a heat source, such as a heat pad or water bottles filled with warm water in the victim's armpit and groin areas.
Watch the person closely for any change in condition and immediately call for help.
Now there are more serious situations you need to handle. Take, for example, this. Oh my god, are you okay?
I think I broke my ankle.
We
I
have
don't know
to-
if I can walk.
We have to get you out of here. Is everything okay?
We heard screaming.
Lauren broke her ankle. We have to get her back to the car.
Let's go.
Oh no!
That's exactly what not to do.
Let's run it back to make sure they make the right decision. Oh my god, are you okay?
I think I broke my ankle. I don't know if I can walk.
At this moment, the best thing for him to do is to begin the aforementioned steps of first aid. He will begin by assessing the situation.
Alright, so it looks like you've broken your ankle. So we're gonna need some sort of ice pack and a sling. Liam,
Yeah?
can you call for help? And if you can't call for help, can you and Bailey go find help?
Yes.
Then, he should continue by approaching safely with the appropriate treatment. Since this may be related to a broken bone, he should ask the following questions.
Does it hurt when I put pressure on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you move your ankle at all?
No, not really.
The injury may be anything from a closed fracture to a small sprain. The best treatment for this is the Rice method. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. In rest, try not to move the affected area to avoid further injury. In ice, you apply ice packs to protect the bare skin. Use a t-shirt or a thin towel around the ice pack. Apply to the affected area on and off in 20-minute increments.
In compression, wrap the injury with elastic bandage. It should be snug enough to provide support and decrease swelling, but not tight enough to cause circulation. You should be able to slip a couple of fingers under the bandage. Continue to check the injury site as well as the areas around the wrapped area for feeling, color, and warmth. Adjust bandage if needed. In elevation, the injury area should be raised above the heart. This step only applies to injuries below the heart. Now they can further assess the situation and take further action.
This is on the way.
We might be able to meet them halfway. Do you think you can walk?
I think so, yeah.
That was just a brief explanation of what to do in an emergency situation. There are plenty of other techniques and situations not covered in this video, so we highly recommend you check out our resources below and do your own research online.
While this information may seem dull, it's important to know because one bad injury could turn your fun day of hiking sour as lemon lime.
So, do your best to prevent first aid situations, and if they do arise, be prepared to tackle them.
So have fun, stay safe, happy trails to you, and watch for falling rocks.